So, welcome back to another episode. Welcome back to another Rob.
Hey!
And welcome back to our memories of the past, our memories of today. We're going to talk about gaming back then and gaming now, and how much things have changed. And we've talked about these things over the years.
A little bit here and there.
Yeah, but now we're going to bring them all together in one big video, and I think a lot of you out there will be able to relate how video games have changed. And we're going to go back to the simpler days. Take us back to the simpler days.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, it is night and day. When you really sit down, we've been here through a massive progression. So to us, it's been over time. But when we wax nostalgic, we really see. I mean, the simpler days going all the way back to, the Atari, the Television, the Coleco, before the crash. I mean, games, box art was king.
Yes.
If you did not have spectacular box art, your game would not sell.
Absolutely. And it's funny you're taking us right back to the 2600. Back in like the 80s, the early 80s, I was going downtown Ontario, like downtown Toronto, and just playing games like Tron and arcade games. This was the birth of arcade games. Was really blossoming, was really doing well, and then we were getting those ports to things like the Atari 2600, which wasn't quite like it, and to other systems as well, which was the beginning of the NES, where really it kind of started for us, and that's where we're going to kind of start at.
Oh yeah, well the arcade was the beginning. Arcade gaming was this massive explosion. Pong started as an arcade game, and it was the desire to bring that experience home that drove console markets.
Oh, absolutely.
It was constantly, and a lot of the newer, younger kids these days probably won't get it because consoles now can do stuff that you go to the arcade and go, what?
I know, and that's huge. Isn't
that insane?
Yeah, and that's a big thing that we got to talk about.
Yes, because arcades back in the day were the benchmark. You took that sack full of quarters, you walked into this dimly lit, musty cave full of unbathed humans who were obsessed with pixels on a screen. That was the greatest experience of your goddamn life, and you had to get there because it's the only way to get that experience.
You know what I'm thinking about. You know
what I really want to do.
Well, we years ago, maybe like it was probably like 9 years ago, we talked about you going into one of those arcades back in the day to play Mega Man the Power Battle, and how some creepy old man was like trying to molest you.
Yes. Quite literally.
Yeah,
he wanted to bring me to a peep show.
Yeah, which was in the same arcade.
Because a lot of in the lower, sort of the tail end of the arcade days, a lot of them were sort of a arcade up front and like peep shows and stuff in the back, in the bad ends of downtowns of major cities,
like Vancouver.
Yes, like Vancouver. And so we used to go through so much bullshit just to play arcade games because you couldn't get that experience at home.
We were talking about it the other day, like how much you wanted to play this game.
It was the only place I could find it was there.
Yeah,
and all I wanted to do was sit and play my fucking Mega Man game, and here's this skeezy, emaciated, pasty-faced, half-dead man going, "Hey, little boy, why don't you tell me about this game you're playing?" Pat my knee with his hand.
I know. What's so scary is you put up with that to play the game. You didn't just run out. You dealt with it for another half an hour.
I know.
Anyways.
He paid for a free game. What was I gonna do? I'm not gonna lose on purpose. It's Mega Man.
And the reason why you were in the arcade, because you were getting Mega Man the Power Battle. This is just like, and you couldn't get that at home.
That was not released on home consoles. Way before the anniversary collections were out and all that. The only way to play it was there.
Yeah.
It's the only way.
It's the best looking fucking video game. You're like, whoa, Jesus, when I saw that game, they look like a cartoon.
But look back far enough. You've got Kadash.
Yeah.
You've got any of the old Capcom, like Final Fight and Strider. All those old Capcom's arcade lineup was insane. The home versions were attempting to live up to the arcade, and they never did back then.
Trojan is a great example.
Oh my God.
I wanted Trojan to be like the arcade game was so much. Good. And then you play the home game, you're like, but then again, back then, you accepted it.
You rolled with it because it was what you could get.
And Ghosts and Goblins and stuff like that,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God, compare the arcade version to the home version?
Yes.
Oh, night and day.
Yeah, Ghouls and Ghosts was a lot better.
It was closer, The Genesis, well, that was when you got to 16-bit.
And that's what we're going to talk about. Yes. So the NES was really good, had a lot of original games, had a lot of arcade ports that were, well, they were pretty okay. We accepted them. And that's what it was kind of like back then.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, as you said, you measured a brand new video game machine, brand new piece of hardware on how well it could do arcade conversions.
Yes.
And that is different than nowadays. As you said, a new machine now, this game's better than anything.
Remember when the Genesis came out and then games like Raiden came out on it, and all of a sudden it started to look a lot more like the arcade version, and you went, oh my god, look how this looks. These top-down shooters look like when I go play Raiden in the arcade. It looks like this.
I know. It's ridiculous.
And people were freaking out.
I know. That's exactly what you wanted. And another thing that we wanted to kind of touch on a little bit was nowadays, when you get a game, you open the clamshell and you just get a CD. If that, or you just get it digitally. And with all the DLC and all the baloney and all the stuff that comes with that. Where back in the day, you'd open it up, sometimes you get a cloth map, you would always get an instruction manual.
Instruction manuals. They used to be, I loved that part. You'd get even classic video.
Yeah.
They used to because they didn't want them stolen. They would photocopy the manual. You'd get a little black and white photocopied version of the manual.
Yeah.
But you always got, when you rented or bought a game, you got a manual.
Yeah.
And it had cool artwork in it, usually the original artwork from Japan, so it looked a lot better. At least in my opinion, and sort of a write-up of the story, the background of the game,
you found out the background of the story in the manual. Like,
yes,
I remember how many times you would tell me, like, when you get a game, you go straight to the bathroom to take a crap just to read the manual.
Yes! Look, the bathroom is the one sacred place where you cannot be disturbed while you read something, okay? Everyone knows that. Go watch A Christmas Story, it's true.
I'm not borrowing any of your games. That's not happening.
Hey, just because I have a shitty collection.
Dun. But yeah, but that was king back then. And then something we always wanted to talk about it over the years is that during the PS3 era, you'd buy a game, you'd get your instructions, and it'd be like black and white.
Yeah, we used to do that. PS2 was the first one where you would you could tell how much a company really stood behind the quality of their game release by the manual, because so often in that era you'd open it up and it was just this black and white, gray, boring manual.
Yeah, and that was part of the experience back then, was the box art, opening up. And the reason why is that back then, we didn't have the internet. We had nothing like that. And so you'd walk into a store, and your entire thought process of what game you were going to buy was either a Nintendo Power in a video game magazine or that box art on the wall. And you'd be like, I choose you. And sometimes you choose correctly, and sometimes you choose wrong. And you chose pretty good back in the day.
I did choose pretty good back in the day. And now the other thing is, we didn't have tutorials. The rise of the tutorial was because they were phasing out the manual.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you had picked up Super Mario Brothers for the NES, you put it in, and you press start, and the first thing you're greeted with is blah, 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 press A to jump.
Mm-hmm.
Beep, and you can't do anything until you've gone beep, and now press B to throw a fireball. Beep. Like,
treating you like a child.
Gaming didn't do that. They didn't hold your hand. They expected you, here's a book, fucking read the thing.
Yeah.
And then just play the damn game.
And things were a little harder back then. Like, remember, we get to a boss, it's like, I can't beat the boss. You try to find a family member who could help you.
Yep.
They usually were fucking useless.
You'd phone your friends. You'd be like, dude, I'm on level 6 and I'm fighting the boss. Oh, no, the pattern's going to be like 3 shots at the top, 2 at the bottom, and then you got to get in the middle.
Right.
You know, you'd have friends that you would...
Yeah, people in your neighborhood. You'd actually talk to people that you didn't want to talk to find out certain things about video games. I remember when Street Fighter 2 first came out, asking people, like, how do you do the fireball? How do you do the backwards, hurricane kick and all that kind of stuff.
Remember, you told me that people used to wear, like, fingerless gloves, and they'd put their jacket over their hands on the joystick when they played Street Fighter, so you couldn't see how they were doing the special moves.
Yeah, it was it was kind of cool. It's a bit of gaming that is absolutely gone now.
And again, no internet. You couldn't just look it up. There was nowhere to look it up. You didn't know.
Yeah, exactly. I know you could phone Nintendo Power or something like that, but I kind of like it. Now if some kid's stuck in some boss, you go, oh, I'm on YouTube. Oh, that's how Jerry fucking blah blah fucking beat it. And it's like, I mean, it's kind of not fun. And also nowadays, the build-up of a game, the company announces it, releases all the screenshots, and then all the music gets shown online,
and then the trailers
online,
you get
the
to
trailers,
watch.
and then it's just like fucking everything. Then the development team is playing the game for you, and then there's an unboxing, and I'm guilty of it. I do these unboxings too.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm not a part of it, but times have changed.
So much.
And to a certain degree, not to the better, we think. I really liked a game that felt like we've talked about it. When I would buy Final Fantasy VII back then, it felt like the game was for me personally. Even though obviously it was sold to millions of people, but it felt like my thing, and I had my own experience in my own house rather than being connected to everybody else in the fucking world. You know.
Yeah.
And then also there's another thing. A game comes out now, and fucking everybody's fucking fighting online about it. And that it never used to be like that. People, you were happy to find people who were into video games, and you could like, hey buddy, you play video games too, fucking right. That's how me and Rob started hanging out. Me and our friend Satan started hanging out.
Now, and before we get into people talking about the whole console wars thing and all the fanboyism, let me just point out, they were tongue-in-cheek back in the day.
Yeah.
They were very, it was a fun, like, both sides laughed about it. I mean, yeah, there was some devotion to a brand.
Sure.
Sega,
Yeah.
Nintendo, right?
Well, I would say that.
You were quite the Sega, you were more Sega because you knew about Phantasy
no,
Star.
dude, I love Nintendo.
I know. See, that's what I'm saying.
This ain't game
You
set.
loved, yeah, but you had more experience with and more love of Sega than I did.
Sure.
I had been more closed into Nintendo.
Right,
You
right.
opened my
But-
eyes to Sega,
but
but
we
that
did-
was the nice thing, was
Yeah.
that through the rivalry of me being only Nintendo.
We were discussing fucking like, hey, dude, you gotta try this game, you gotta try this, have fun with it, and all that.
And then I would try them, and I would go, "Oh fuck, you were right, man. How did I miss these all these years?"
And you know,
Right?
instead of internet forums, I would bump into like, what was that Penfold guy? He's like, oh yeah, the Sega CD's coming out, and it's gonna crush your TurboGrafx. And I was like, fuck you fucking dumbass. And that was it. Like we laughed, and I didn't care what he said. I was gonna get the fucking Sega CD as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we were enjoying video games. Video games was fun. It wasn't something to debate or get angry about.
Well, no, exactly. It wasn't. Now it's become such a big phenomenon, whereas back then it was just this little thing for you played the games. It was about playing the games. It wasn't about collecting. It wasn't about showing off. It wasn't
I didn't
about
have this. Yeah, neither did you.
Oh fuck no.
I know.
No, I had a couple of bookshelves with some stuff on it, kind of in the living room. Set aside.
Yeah.
Most of my boxes, my parents threw them out.
I know. That's
They
what
bought
they
me
did
all those
back then.
plastic clamshell things.
Yeah.
If you knew what you cost me, but
I know.
I'm spending your retirement on getting those boxes back.
I have a Dragon Quest VI box from back. I did replace it. That just disappeared one day. Whoop. Disappeared.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So you know, but there was so much
camaraderie
between
between people about video games. It was about friends and fun and all of that kinds of stuff. And
You know what else the internet kind of crashed?
What's that?
The rumor mill.
Oh
I miss how awesome. If you do, when the middle elephant in the Dhalsim stage raises his trunk, if you do 35 uppercuts in a row, Ryu will pull out a katana and slash the opponent.
Oh yeah, you do a certain move in Street Fighter, Chun-Li can reach down and grab the rock in her stage.
And throw it.
I know.
Yeah.
I believed it.
Everyone did, and it was the best. There were all these urban legends around video games, and now people just get out the front and go, nah, it's bullshit.
Yeah. We had to take a moment. Rob was getting so excited. He was sweating so profusely. I'm like, Rob,
melting.
you were pouring. You're absolutely pouring. And you know the fun that we used to have. I remember we've talked about it. Hiking up in the snow to buy fucking video game
magazine.
Yeah, to buy video game magazines.
Yeah.
So because we're like, oh my god, we got to find out about the latest Zelda on N64. Yeah. We can't wait. And I remember, going all the way up to Save On Foods, going to the magazine rack, and it wasn't there because I could walk there. The truck couldn't fucking get there in the snow. I was like, fuck you, Save On Foods. I hiked all the way back, but I stopped and grabbed a 6-pack of beer.
Yep.
Yeah. Always. But anyway.
You gotta drown your sorrows when you don't get your game van. Come on.
And you know what? When I did finally get that game van, got another 6-pack of beer. And I drank. I was like, yeah, man. Oh, it's gonna be fucking amazing back here.
And it's funny because we would phone each other and we'd just be like, Did you get it? And we knew what we meant. Did you get it? Yeah, I got it. Did you see the article on page 16 for the new Zelda? Oh my god. And then we'd theorize. Because you didn't get a trailer. You didn't get you didn't get a Twitch stream of the first 10 hours of gameplay. Yeah. You had to make that shit up.
Yeah, you did. And really back then when you would read articles about like somebody talking about Symphony of the Night and the water effects, you know, will make you shed a tear. This is me. I was like, oh, I believe you. You know,
I need this in my life.
I need this in my life. I need this inside of me.
See, the anticipation made the games that much sweeter.
Yeah.
Because we weren't spoon-fed everything. I'm not trying to say that gaming nowadays sucks. It doesn't. Gaming today is still
the best it's ever been.
Amazing. Oh God, God of War 4, anyone?
Breath of the Wild? Anyone?
You know, Horizon Zero Dawn that I'm playing through now. I can't believe I'm so late to the party.
Yeah.
But there was something special about then. The manuals and color manuals. When you see game companies now, these indie developers, and they make their game and they're very passionate about it, you can tell exactly how passionate because you'll still see whether it's a black and white or a color manual.
You know, and something else we have to talk about. Look what we're wearing here. This is what we're gonna get into. Nowadays, like Rob was over, I'm in the other room, and for half an hour, I'm going through all my black shirts, I'm like, oh, this shirt, should I wear this? No, I don't. I'm not wearing this for the prom.
This guy has a collection of shirts. He's got a whole closet, and they're all hangers. It's ridiculous.
It's actually gotten so insane over the years, and there's a reason why.
Before Final Fantasy VII, you couldn't find a video game shirt to save your goddamn life.
No.
You couldn't, unless you bought one under Nintendo Power or something.
It was like...
there were no corporate logos of any kind, though. I was telling you, I knew a guy who had an orange t-shirt that said Reese on it. Just like Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. It was the coolest thing ever! Because all t-shirts were blank, or they were like the little alligator from whatever that is.
Yeah.
And, like, there were no shirts like this.
Branding shirts. It's kind of weird. You go to Walmart now, you can buy a Deadpool shirt, a Flash shirt, a
Batman, wrestling,
and a fucking Mario fucking shirt,
Twinkies,
old school gaming, anyone,
like it's all over the place. Classically trained with an NES cartridge, it's everywhere. But back in the day, Final Fantasy VII, when they launched it and they said with a $5 down payment for your pre-order, you can get a t-shirt, began the flood of $5 pre-order t-shirts.
I went to 3 stores, I got 3 shirts, and let me tell you something. All of those shirts have holes in them because I wore them so much.
Yeah.
I had a riding bean shirt back then.
Oh, man.
And here's the thing, we were talking about this too.
Yeah.
I had holes in it. I had so many holes in it that I'd wear a shirt underneath just to wear it.
Just to be able to wear it.
Because you couldn't find anime shirts. You couldn't find merch like there is now. Oh my God.
Do you know I still have that Bubblegum Crisis shirt I got the first time I went to William Chow's store?
Yeah.
And there's no holes in it so far. God, but I still have it. An original Bubblegum Crisis.
It was amazing to have merch. You can go to Walmart and there's like a Super Mario Brothers section now.
Pretty much.
It's crazy. That didn't exist back then. And honestly, we're so spoiled and
spoiled,
and we're a little oversaturated now. And also back then, there was a lot of games. No, let's not get wrong.
Yeah.
But my God, is there ever a lot of games now?
Oh God. Man, yeah, well, I mean, and that's what's interesting is now the games that old gamers like us, I'll say old school gamers like us, are into, there's fewer of them, and there's so in that sense, I still feel a little bit of that old school niche because the ones that we would be interested in, as opposed to the glut of just this massive industry, we still have a small niche in it.
Yeah.
So the games that we're into is like this much of a massive industry, but I mean, back then, any game release was huge. Didn't matter what it was.
It didn't matter if it was a shit game.
We still loved it.
Even shit games we gave time to, which is fucking nuts. And
Dynamite Ducks, anybody?
Fucking goddamn. That wasn't giving my time to. That was giving like 10 minutes to before I finished. I'm like, what, $90 fucking dollars? I'm still fucking mad about that.
That was $90 for 10 minutes.
Fucking jeez. And I can't say it was a good fucking 10 minutes.
No.
Anyway.
That wasn't a happy finish on that $90 10 minutes.
That was not a happy finish. That was not a happy finish. But you know what? You would gamble back then, and sometimes you would gamble. Amazing, like you and Blaster Master is a great example.
That was the biggest dice roll that turned out the best ever for me was Blaster Master.
Yeah.
Walking up to Willow Video Games in Langley, the guy at the counter and saying, I need a game that is going to be hard enough I won't beat it in one sitting, but that's really good. And he just pulled Blaster Master out of the case and said, you're going to want that. I mean, this was Sunsoft. They weren't Capcom, they weren't Konami, they weren't Nintendo, they weren't, the big third parties. They were a much smaller third party at the time, and I was like, Box looks cool. Back looks cool. Yeah, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, you had to just take a risk,
Roll
right?
the dice. And you know what? That turned out great. There were times, however, the dice rolls were less than good.
Well, like video games were expensive back then, but video games are expensive now. Like I think it's great with the internet that people can do a lot more research and say, is this game for me? Like seriously. But now, what's that?
Well, that's going to lead into another point.
Yes.
Actually, is that back then you could rent. Now,
yeah.
You could walk into Blockbuster, you could walk into Rogers, you could walk into your mom and pop corner video store.
True.
You could rent a game, and so you could take it home, and if you played it for a while, like, this game's fucking awesome. Well, then I'll spend the money on it and buy it.
And you would.
This game is shit. I'm glad I only spent $3.18 to rent it for a night, because it's going right back.
Yeah,
That was the way it was, right?
And another big thing we're gonna talk about, like trading video games.
Yes.
Was everything. I don't like. Yep. You gotta let us know down below because we're older men now. Yep. We don't know this stuff. Like, are young kids are they trading games? Like, do you guys trade games? Is that how it works?
Yeah, I don't know. Like
I don't
hey,
know.
I'll trade you my God of War 4 because I just finished it. I'll trade you for
Horizon Zero Dawn
so we can try each other's games. Do people do that?
I don't know.
But I remember that trading games and renting games
was the big thing.
And then during that PS2 Dreamcast era, demos.
That became a thing.
And then the downloadable demo in the start of the Xbox 360 era. Yeah. And now even those have really kind of petered out. You don't see the big, there's a demo coming soon for this game, you gotta try it.
There's demos, but I see them, I'm like, I'm not playing it.
Square used to sell games because of the demo that was packed in.
Yeah, like Toe Ball, we have the demo there. It was like Toe Ball in Final Fantasy VIII, I think it was.
Wasn't it the disc that had the Final Fantasy VIII cinematic thing and Brave Fencer Musashi?
I think something
and
like that, yes.
a couple of other things on the second disc.
That was fucking
And more
gold.
people wanted the second disc than wanted the actual game.
Yeah, that was exciting. All that, and all the demos back then were so cool, eh?
Yes.
Vagrants, and it was so good. Also another big thing is that we move into now. Now, when you buy a game, like we all know this. We're not going to hamp on this too much. Is that it's not the full game usually. No. You'll get a game, and then it's like, I like a game when you get the whole game and you play. You're like, oh, that was satisfying, great. And then you can, maybe I like the game so much, I'll get a season's pass or I'll get an expansion. That's my choice, though.
Yeah, and that adds extra to what feels like a completed story.
Sure, absolutely.
That's good.
Yeah.
When you have a day one download because it's buggy as fuck when it shipped, and then you have to fix that before you can even play it. Like you used to be able to go to the video store, rent your game, come home, click, power. I'm playing the game. I am playing the game.
Back then, they had to ship it. It had to be perfect, and sometimes there was some amazing glitches in some of these games that became legendary. But now they're like, oh, fucking just ship it. But sure, it's not finished. Ship it.
And there's guys at their computers still coding the repairs and the patches while the discs are flying out
don't
the door.
worry.
Like, that's okay. We'll just put out a patch when they buy it. They'll have to download something for an hour and a half. It'll be great.
We'll make a video talking about how we failed you, online, and then we'll be patching it as we're doing the video over the next 5 weeks.
Yeah, see, we didn't realize it was unfinished when we shipped it. We didn't know. We got a patch for you on day one. See?
Yeah, just download it. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
You'll be playing the full game in 5 months. It'll be okay.
It's all good. Yeah.
Yeah, we just got it out, so that's the main thing. The gangsters.
You have to sit down now, put the disc in, and wait an hour for it to download patches and updates, install itself on the hard drive, make you a sandwich and pour a beer. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know.
I miss the old days of plug and play.
I know, and we'll never see that again. And nowadays, like, a lot of games don't even have physical copies. It's just straight download and all of that. It's great that companies like Limited Run Games and a lot of other companies are releasing physical copies for things. Because there's a lot of us out there that like that.
But this is why we got into gaming.
You know why? Because I can pick up a game and it's like real, like Soul Calibur. That's happened.
And you know what?
There.
There's never going to be a time when the servers for that shut down, so you can't play it anymore. I'm looking at you, Destiny.
Yeah.
So and don't get me wrong, I love Destiny, but I know that when those servers shut down, I won't be able to put that disc in and play it no more.
Well, I can't play Final Fantasy 11 anymore.
Yeah,
because that's an online-only game as well.
See, but I mean, Grandia 2, Zombie Revenge, Persona,
I can play
Secret of Mana.
Yeah.
Far East of Eden,
Samurai
Showdown,
PlayStation 1, Ys
1 and 2 Eternal Story. You can put those in, you can play them anytime.
Absolutely.
Anytime.
Always works. What are some things that you guys love about the past that they're not doing anymore? Or what are some things that you like now that, that are
wouldn't have been possible back
then, which is like everything.
As we come on.
Which is like everything. We just want to come in and share a lot of the things that we kind of grew up with, and we've seen the change since we were like little kids, since the mid 80s to now. So we've seen that whole spectrum change, and here's the thing. We've always embraced the changes that have come along. We've not always agreed with everything, but we love gaming. So we want to play all the latest fucking games.
Oh, absolutely.
So we always, respect it with a lot of what's been going on, and we disrespect some of the things that are going on as well. But we've always enjoyed gaming. That's what it's always been about. Always been about. So anyways, guys, until next time.